Hello girls, I hope you're having a great day and you're staying safe at home. And to continue with the chemical changes and reaction chapter, today we are going to learn how to perform decomposition reactions. Okay, so before that, let us talk about some decomposition reactions in our body. Now, you know, when you eat food, food is digested in our body. So, digestion of food by our body is an example of decomposition reaction. Now, why? Because when we eat food, it breaks down into small pieces so that it can easily be absorbed by the blood and give us energy. So, how is that energy produced? The starch which is present in the food, it decomposes into glucose and sugar. Proteins decompose to form amino acids, and even fats and oils that we take in, it turns into fatty acids. And finally, by respiration, the glucose turns into carbon dioxide, water, and gives us lots of energy. Okay, now you see how starch, with the help of enzymes, turns into glucose. The glucose again breaks down, further decomposes with the help of oxygen into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Now, moving on to the experiments. Okay, children, these experiments are very, very important because you will learn how to answer your ICSE paper in chemistry. Okay, chemistry, it's very, very easy. Now, the first experiment, we take some lead nitrate crystals in a test tube and we heat it. What happens to the crystal? It melts first, and when we heat it further, it gives out nitrogen dioxide. Now, nitrogen dioxide is a gas which is reddish brown in color. Very, very, very important. Colors are very important. And it also gives out oxygen. How do you know? How do you test for oxygen? It rekindles a glowing splinter. Now, what is a glowing splinter? I think all of you have seen incense sticks. Yes, it glows at the top and the smoke comes out. So that is a glowing splinter, because if you happen to touch an incense stick, it burns, doesn't it? So it is not in flames, but still it is burning. So that is a glowing splinter. So if you bring a glowing splinter near oxygen, immediately it will burst into flames. Okay, so that is your test for oxygen. Very, very important. You have to remember it. Now, after that, you will see a yellow solid which is left behind in the test tube. What is the yellow solid? It is lead monoxide. And what is the equation? Very, very important. You must learn. When you heat lead nitrate, okay, a triangle sign will tell you you're heating it. You'll get lead oxide, which is a yellow solid, nitrogen dioxide, the color of which is reddish brown gas, and oxygen, it rekindles a glowing splinter. So please listen carefully, children, in the question paper, how this question might come. A compound is heated in a test tube and the compound melt, or some crystals are taken in a test tube and then it is heated. The crystals melt and gives out certain gas which is reddish brown in color, and another gas which rekindles a glowing splinter. Okay, or that will not be mentioned also. Okay, it gives out two different gases and a solid is left behind. So the question asked will be, what is the name of the crystal? What are the names of the two gases which was released? What is the name of the solid left behind? What is the color? What is the color of one of the gas? And how do you test for the other gas? How will you know that it is oxygen? That is, how do you test? for the two gases. How do you know one is nitrogen dioxide and the other one is oxygen? So you'll have to say that nitrogen dioxide is a reddish brown gas, and oxygen you will test because it rekindles a glowing splinter. Okay, now moving on to the next experiment. We take some zinc carbonate, again in a test tube which is fitted with a cork and a bent glass tube. Now when you heat it, we're talking about decomposition reaction. So when we heat it, carbon dioxide is given out. So how do you know it is carbon dioxide? Because it will turn lime water milky. Okay, and the residue, the solid which is left behind is the residue, is zinc oxide. And how do you know it is zinc oxide? Because it is yellow when hot and white on cooling. So reaction, again you have zinc carbonate, zinc oxide, yellow when hot, white when cold, and carbon dioxide, it turns lime water milky. Okay, now moving on to the third experiment. We take an orange colored compound which is ammonium dichromate in a test tube. Now when we heat it, it swells, means it becomes bigger in size. Okay, and decomposes, means it will break down with flashes of light. And what does it give out? Nitrogen and water vapor and a green colored solid. Children, please remember, what is the green colored solid? It is chromium oxide that is left behind. So there you have the equation, very, very important. Ammonium dichromate, what is the color? Orange. Okay, and then what does it give when you heat it, when it decomposes on heating? What does it give? It gives chromium oxide. What is the color of chromium oxide? It is green in color, and water vapor is given out, and nitrogen is also given out. Now moving on to the fourth experiment. When hydrated copper 2 sulfate, hydrated means it has some amount of water in it. Okay, so hydrated copper sulfate is blue in color due to the presence of a few molecules of water. So when you heat it in a test tube, the blue colored crystals change into white anhydrous salt. Anhydrous means it is powdery, it is dry, it does not have any water. So the change is shown there. You can see copper sulfate 0.5 H2O. I told you the blue color is due to the presence of 5 molecules of water. So when we heat it, copper sulfate, hydrated copper sulfate, what will happen? The water will evaporate off. You can see here the water evaporates off the 5 molecules, and only copper sulfate remains dry. It does not have the 5 molecules of water. So if it is dry, it is white in color. If it has 5 molecules of water, then it is blue in color. Okay. Now, if you want to change anhydrous copper sulfate into hydrated copper sulfate, all you have to do is reverse. Okay, a reversible reaction. You have to add some amount of water to this, and then it will turn into hydrated salt. Okay, so anhydrous copper sulfate may be changed to the blue hydrated form by taking a sample of anhydrous salt and adding a few drops of water. Okay, so this is also a test of water. If some liquid is given to you and you are asked to see whether it is water or not, what do? You take some copper sulfate, anhydrous copper sulfate, white in color, and sprinkle the liquid on it. If it turns blue in color, then it is water. If not, then it is not water. Okay, so till now, whatever reactions we talked about, okay, it took place in a certain direction, in one direction. Okay, so it was easy for us to tell which is the reactants and which were the products. Now, there are certain group of reactions where the direction of chemical change can be reversed. Okay, I just now told you about how hydrated copper sulfate, when heated, turned into white powder, isn't it? And then by sprinkling that water on it, we would get back the hydrated copper sulfate. So that reaction is known as a reversible reaction. And when does the reversible reaction take place? When we change the conditions under which the reaction is taking place. Okay, so the change I already told you, when we change hydrated copper sulfate into by heating into copper sulfate and water. So this sign tells you it is a reversible reaction. That reaction will take place in both directions. That is, when you heat it, it will turn into copper sulfate and water. Remove the heat, sprinkle a few droplets of water, it will turn back into copper sulfate, hydrated copper sulfate, which is blue in color. And I have already told you this is the sign which tells you that it is a reversible reaction. That is, the reaction will take place in both directions. Now, if steam is passed over red hot iron means you have heated iron so that it has become red hot. Okay, now you will see that in the reaction iron and steam, it turns into magnetic oxide. The latter, that is the red hot iron, changes into magnetic oxide, that is tri-lead tetraoxide, and 4 molecules of hydrogen will be given out. But again, if hydrogen is passed over heated magnetic oxide, it changes back into steam. So in both the cases, you will see the reaction ends with a mixture of reactants and the products. That means it will be a never-ending reaction. It will keep on going on and on both ways. Okay. Now, next is an experiment to show thermal dissociation. What do? We take some solid ammonium chloride. This is also a reversible reaction. Okay, in a test tube, you will see that 2 colorless gases are given out. One is ammonia, the other one is hydrogen chloride. Okay, now as these gases, now supposing this is the test tube and we have taken ammonium chloride, which is a solid, and we heat it, what will be formed? You'll see 2 gases coming out. One is ammonia and the other one is hydrogen chloride gas. So it will start moving up, and when they reach the cooler part, the base is heated, this part is cooler. Okay, here again ammonia and hydrogen chloride will recombine to form a white sublimate, white solid on the cooler part. What is the white solid? It is ammonium chloride, because this is also a reversible reaction. So the gases will move up to the upper parts of the test tube, which is cooler, because there is no heat. So here they combine to form ammonium chloride again, which is a white sublimate, because ammonium chloride is a compound which sublimes on heating. If you remember, sublimes means a solid directly changing into vapor without changing into liquid. Okay, so this is also a reversible reaction. So ammonium chloride, this is the sign for reversible reaction. Ammonia and hydrogen chloride gases are given out. You know, the up arrow means gas. Okay, so sometimes a simultaneous reversible decomposition which is brought about by heat, then that reaction is known as thermal dissociation. Thermal means heat, dissociation means to break up. Now, next is when you heat nitrogen tetraoxide, N2O4, it changes into nitrogen dioxide. Here you can see in the equation, you know what is the color of nitrogen dioxide? It is reddish brown in color. Okay, so when you heat it, what does nitrogen tetroxide turn into? Reddish brown nitrogen dioxide. And You remove the heat, you cool it, again nitrogen dioxide will turn back into nitrogen tetraoxide. That is a reversible reaction when we reverse the changes. Okay, so we'll do till here today, children. Please go over. Now this is very important part in your chemistry. So till then, children, stay safe and have a great day. God bless you.